Hey everybody, this is Future Tim here. The content of the episode you're going to listen to today is a little bit heavier than what you're used to. We do discuss a lot of things that may be triggering to you all in the way of national tragedies and just unfortunate circumstances. So if those sort of things are triggering to you, please just go ahead and skip this episode. No hard feelings on our end. We just got lost in conversation. It was a very good conversation and very deep, but also we're not too insensitive to know that some of these things could be triggering. So if you are triggered by discussions of 9/11 or unfortunate school shooting incidences, please feel free to skip the episode. We'll see you Thursday on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And we'll see you back here on Tuesday for the next podcast. Hopefully it'll be a little more lighthearted, a little more fun. But we love you. And if you're sticking around, enjoy the show.
I'm surprised that the Cowboys got the deal done before the season. I thought for sure whether it was the 11th and a half hour,
2 hours before the season.
I mean,
when you can't do anything with it.
Like, I thought for sure he would just go through the year as a lame duck, which is probably worse for everybody involved. I can't say that I'm thrilled about it, but you know what you have in Dak. Now, I guess there's a possibility that at some point over the term of this contract, the wheels will completely fall off. But you at least know what you have, because life after Dak could be a lot like life after Troy Aikman, when it was Quincy Carter and Chad Hutchinson and Drew Henson and Quincy Wright and Drew Bledsoe, Vinny Testaverde. Like, it can get a lot worse. There's always room to get better, but it could be a lot worse. So I'm shocked they got the deal done. And I know it's like the lame way out, but like how I'll feel about the Dak contract is if at the end of it, there's a Super Bowl or, one or more Super Bowls. If he wins a Super Bowl and proves me wrong, because I'm to the point where I'm like, this motherfucker ain't ever going to win one, then cool, you proved me wrong. Congratulations. If you prove me right, then I'm no worse off now than I have been for the last 29 years. So, yeah, I don't know. There's part of me is frustrated because it's like, for some teams, there is that excitement of like, look at the Ravens. I mean, you went through life with the Trent Dilfers and Vinny Testaverdes of the world, and then you got Lamar Jackson. For the Kansas City Chiefs, you've gone through, God, how many quarterbacks over the course of your history, and then now you end up with arguably the best of all time.
Right.
Whereas like the Cowboys, I had Aikman in my lifetime, basically, that I can remember. I've had Troy Aikman, that slew of bad, Tony Romo, and now Dak Prescott. And it was kind of exciting to have the possibility of a different quarterback.
All right, let's play a game.
Oh, okay.
Can you name me as many starting quarterbacks for the Cowboys since the year 2000?
Okay, so 2000, Aikman was gone in 2000, right?
Aikman played
Till 98.
97,
98.
or no, he played 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games in 2000.
Okay. All right. So Aikman, Quincy Carter,
Quincy Carter, 2001, 2002, 2003.
I want to say it's like Anthony Wright,
2000, 2001.
Chad Hutchinson.
2002.
I bought a Chad Hutchinson jersey in the pro shop of the Pro Football Hall of Fame because they have or at least they did at the time. They had a section for each team in the National Football League. Chad Hutchinson was supposed to be the next big thing, and they had his number 7 jersey, and I bought it there. So I don't ever want to hear anybody tell me I'm a bandwagon Cowboys fan, by the way.
He was 2-7.
Yeah, I'm well aware. Drew Henson.
Drew Henson, 04.
I know Vinny Testaverde was in there.
04.
Drew Bledsoe.
05, 06.
Okay. Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore, 2015.
I believe Jason Garrett was before 2000, right?
Jason Garrett was 1999.
Okay. I knew he was there in the later Troy Aikman years, but I couldn't remember exactly where. Well, let's get Tony Romo out of the way.
Tony Romo, 06, 07, 08, 09, 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
God, I miss Tony Romo. You know that, like, this saying, like, you don't know the good old it was the good old days until they're gone. Mm-hmm. I miss Tony Romo. I wish Tony Romo could have had 1 year of the defense the Cowboys have now.
Right.
Dak Prescott, obviously, let's get him out of the way.
Dak from 16 on.
But there is also a Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush, 2011 or 2021, 22.
Kyle Orton.
The Age of Orton in 2013.
John Kitna.
John Kitna, that is...
He only started a game or
2010. He started 9 games.
Or 9 games. Well, I remember they brought him back when Romo got... Oh, he was a backup. So after he retired and Kyle Orton was the backup, when Romo got hurt, Orton became the starter, and they were in the playoffs. John Kitna was teaching math at a high school and came back to be the backup because he knew he was the only... Like, it was better to sign him because Orton was dinged up. Mm-hmm. And John Kitna knew the playbook. So it was better to bring him in cold than it was to bring in somebody else cold that had no clue what the playbook was.
Right.
Okay. How many more am I missing?
You are missing 1 from the year 2000.
Oh, my God.
You're missing 2 from 2001. You're missing 1 from 2008. 1 from 2010. 1 from 14.
Andy Dalton's 14, right?
No,
Andy Dalton's
Dalton
later.
is 2020.
Yeah, that's right. He came in
so
after Dak almost lost his foot.
You said Brandon Whedon, right?
I didn't. I wouldn't have remembered him.
Okay, so Brandon Whedon. So you're missing 1, 2. You did say Kellen Moore, right?
I did say Kellen Moore.
Okay, so you're missing 1 from 2015, and then you're missing 2 from 2020. 2015. Do you want me to just tell you?
Yeah, just tell me. I won't.
Randall Cunningham.
Oh, fuck. That's right. I forgot. Because the Eagles fans were pissed.
Ryan Leaf.
Oh, fuck. Man, he threw a ball that I'm convinced he threw it forward arm, but the ball went backwards. I don't know how else to describe that.
Clint Stomer.
Yeah, I would have never gotten that.
Brad Johnson.
Oh, okay. I did forget Johnson was there for a second.
Stephen McGee.
Yep.
Matt Castle.
Shit, I forgot about Castle as well.
Garrett Gilbert.
God, yeah. Yeah, you're really scraping the barrel at this point.
And then before Tommy DeVito, before Tommy Cutlets could fly, Ben DiNucci.
Oh, the Nooch! Fuck, how could I forget about the Nooch? He's a UFL star.
Yep.
Wow, fucking Bills just having their way in Miami on Thursday night.
I will say this. Dak Prescott is the fourth most successful quarterback by win percentage in Cowboys history.
So what, Aikman's one?
No.
Or Staubach one?
Staubach is one. Craig Morton is two.
Craig Morton.
Danny White is three. So you have to go back to 1965 to 1968 to get the three quarterbacks with a better winning percentage.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know Danny White. I heard a lot of people say that Tony Romo was the resurrected Danny White, even though Danny White's not actually dead.
Right.
But yeah, it was because Danny White was very great in the regular season, but was a quarterback that couldn't get it done in the postseason. Because if you look at the Cowboys' history, they started in 1960. The 60s decade was bad. 70s, they won 2 Super Bowl. 80s were very bad. 90s, they won 3 Super Bowls. 2000s, they went bad. And then it was like, okay, so 2010s should be good, right? Womp, womp. They missed the bus on that one.
Regular season good.
Yeah, I mean, regular season, yeah, I mean, once Romo got there, so basically since Tony Romo took that starting job from Drew Bledsoe, the Cowboys, more times than not, have been pretty damn good in the regular season. It's just they can't win in the playoffs.
But Dak Prescott has a winning percentage of 64%.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why, like, it's so frustrating to me, because it's like he's capable. He and that team are capable of being good. Mm-hmm. It's just like you get to a game like look at the Packers game in the playoffs last year. They never made it to the stadium mentally. And I'm like, how does that continue to happen? It boggles my mind.
Yeah, Dak is, for his career, he is 47-71 as a starter. Tony Romo
it's in the playoffs?
No. This is regular season.
So 74-47.
74-41.
74-41.
Tony Romo is 78-49.
Okay. So a few more losses.
8 more losses, 4 more wins.
Got it.
Dak will surpass Romo this year.
Yeah. Well, should.
Troy Aikman has the worst winning percentage for any quarterback who started more than 45 games for the Cowboys.
So I believe that because, like, his rookie year, I think the Cowboys won 1 game. The early part of his career, the beginnings of the framework of that building that dynasty, it was ugly. And then the end of Aikman's career got pretty ugly. Like, after the Super Bowl, it fell off pretty quick for the Cowboys. But
when do they score again?
Oh yeah, when I was rattling off the quarterbacks, another James Cook.
That's 3?
Dude, I hope I'm not going against him in any fucking leagues.
Okay.
No, I looked at all my scores, and I'm not losing by 1,000, so that's a good sign for me. So welcome, Intern Mark. We missed you on Thursday. Well,
this is a word.
Thursday. Where is
maybe.
everybody? It's just you and Timmy.
It's just me and Big Timmy.
What happened to everybody else?
Fired.
Yeah, we fired him. Smokey got suspended last week.
I missed it.
He talked ish on the Hitman, showing up in Calgary, Alberta. So I suspended him.
Well, yes, he deserves it.
Yeah, you can't be saying that about Brett.
No.
Also, look, I don't know if there's a Canadian alphabet or something, but I swear to God, every time Brett's in Canada, there's a welcome home Brett sign with 2 fucking T's. What? It's 1 T. He's not a 2-teaman. He's a 1-teaman.
He's a single teaman.
Like, come on. He's from Calgary. How the fuck are you doing this wrong? Like, what are they teaching kids in school in Canada? Are they not teaching them how to spell the name of their most beloved hero? Unbelievable.
Apparently not. Maybe in Canada he has 2 T's.
Maybe. I was going to say, I don't know if it's a Canadian thing. So, Mark, you sent us a picture on Thursday. What happened at your place of employment?
Well, Big Jim, that's a great question. So, I was closing it down last Thursday. That's why I was absent from the show last Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to close it down. And I'm leaving. All is well, Tim. Everything is well. And I start heading home. And my boy says, what about if you stop there at McDonald's? And I haven't been to McDonald's since Hector was a pup. The last time I went to McDonald's, I got that Granny McFlurry. That's how long it's been. So
that was a couple months ago.
Yeah, I don't go to McDonald's.
Which, I mean, for me is a long time. I go to McDonald's I haven't been to McDonald's in over a week, and that's actually been a long time.
I've gone 3 times this week.
I mean, I'm probably going to go for breakfast tomorrow, but
I went once for breakfast, I went once for dinner, and I went once for a milkshake after workout.
Holy cats.
That's fine.
Well,
yeah.
Mark, I have to keep this body. There's only one way to keep this body this big. As Mark experiences a powder outage.
I was going to say, what just happened to Mark?
No, you're
not. No, you're faking like you can't talk. Stop that. Stop it. What happened at your place of employment? Wait, is he? Come on.
No, he's fake. He was absolutely faking because he wasn't saying words.
Great. I can't stand him. I can't stand him sometimes.
I wouldn't have him any other way.
Well, absolutely not.
I would. I would love him medicated. That'd be great.
Man.
Old Richard Sherman. Man, why did the Dolphins have to pick the day to effing suck? I mean, Thursday. Why did the Dolphins Thursday have to pick now to suck? You're at home. You should be beating up on the Bills.
Have you while we wait for Mark to return, I guess. Have you seen the trailer for the Saturday Night Live movie?
No.
Yeah, I think it's just called Saturday Night. It's called Saturday Night. It is a Jason Reitman film about the night of the 1975 premiere of Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
And it looks awesome. So the premise, set in 1975, the 90-minute film is a dramatic recreation of the 90 minutes leading up to the moment when the premiere NBC's Saturday Night, later known as Saturday Night Live, goes live on the air. The celebrities portrayed in the film are Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, Jim Henson, Billy Crystal, Lorne Michaels, and Jane Curtin. And man,
there's a ton of celebrities here that are being.
But I think it's the main ones featured. because they were actually like the main cast members. But there are, there's a lot of people being portrayed because there's everybody that would have been on the show, that night. But
I'm trying
man,
to see if I recognize any of these people.
yeah, I'm looking at the actual cast list now, and I
Same.
do not recognize any of the people in it. I mean, but I saw the trailer over the weekend, and
Oh, one of the dudes from Stranger Things is in the show or in the movie. He's a page. He's playing a page.
Oh,
Finn
okay,
Wolfhard.
yeah, Finn Wolfhard. Okay.
Nicholas Braun.
Willem
You are-
Dafoe is David Tebbutt, which is
Yep.
I guess a muckety muck there at NBC. J.K. Simmons is playing Milton Berle.
Yep. Oh, John Batiste. He's Billy
Okay.
Preston. Sure. I don't know any of these people, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, there's a lot
Sure,
of people. There's a lot of,
movie's gonna be great.
which I actually kind of like that though. Oh, Paul Rust. Never mind. I don't
Paul
know.
Roost.
I don't know who Paul Roost is. But yeah, it looks really, really good. I highly recommend checking out the trailer because it looks fantastic. Maybe Mark is Mark in trouble? Should we be worried about?
I don't know. Mark might have had to call the police.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck happened. Somebody got him.
Here he is. He's
Ah,
back.
crap.
Son of a gun.
What?
So sitting at home, I'm eating my McDonald's.
Okay, right. He's right back in the story. That's my favorite part. Just
I
done.
I got a call that's actually related to what we were talking about.
What did you get at McDonald's?
Well, my loving son wanted a Big Mac bundle box.
Ooh.
So I said, "Oh," and so I ate the burgers and a fry and a couple nuggets, and he ate the other nuggets, the other fry, and the Big Macs.
Dude, so we'll get back to your story, Mark, but they have a like $5 lunch deal thing. Like every day, it's you either get a McChicken, a spicy McChicken, or a McDouble with 4 nuggies, a small fry, and a small drink. You can upsize the drink for like 50 cents, and it is an awesome lunch deal.
It's the biggie bag.
Yes.
A biggie bag at McDonald's.
Yeah, basically.
It's a biggie bag at McDonald's from Wendy's.
Yeah.
Because Wendy's does the same shit.
Yeah. Well, I think Wendy's used to call it the 4 for $4, and now they do the biggie bag.
Because it's now 4 for $5.
Yeah, fuckers.
4
Thanks,
for $5.
Byron.
Thanks, Byron.
Inflation.
So anyway, you had
20%.
so you had your McDonald's, Mark, and then what happened?
Well, I haven't been to McDonald's since Hector was a pup. I don't know if
We
I told
heard
you
that already.
And I may not look like it, but I don't often eat fast food. I don't look like it, but I truly don't.
I wish I didn't.
I couldn't tell you last time I was at Burger Thing or Wendy's or Arby's or any of those places.
Oh, I know the last time you were at Burger Thing.
Yeah, well, that was December 10th, 2018.
Now, I mean, you are aware that like not all Burger Kings are as bad as the one that gave you that dry sandwich.
I do realize that,
Okay.
but I'll never go back to that one ever.
That's
He
fine.
sounded like a teenage son who just got scolded by his dad.
Like, oh,
I had to accept it.
you're right.
It's like that's right. Yes, Dad.
So that bad Burger King, the corner opposite with the empty field, they're going to be putting a Wawa there, right? Do I understand that correctly?
That's what they said. Now I don't know if it's going to get held up again, but there's supposed to be a Wawa going in there,
And it's something else, like a Wawa and an
Aldi's supposed to be going back there
Aldi.
somewhere.
That's right, dude. I'll go there for dinner and groceries, probably once a month.
That'll
You
be
an
wonderful.
Aldi man.
I We go to Aldi every week. That's the first place we go shopping every week.
Jim, this might upset you. And Tim, I hope this doesn't upset you. I have never been in an Aldi in my life.
And
You're not missing anything.
That genuinely shocks me. Because it is groceries for cheap. Good groceries for cheap. I am shocked that you've never been in an Aldi.
Now go to the sharp shopper.
Well, I believe that.
I'm a sharp shopper.
And you probably also go to the grocery outlet bargain market.
No, I haven't been there in years.
No?
But I have been in there.
I love those places. I love Sharp Shopper.
Oh, I love them too.
Now, that grocery outlet place, that's the place where they had that little character, the little mascot, and they hide her around the store. And if you find her, you get $10 gift card.
The what?
What?
That's never happened to you?
No, I've never seen that.
No, what is this?
Maybe it was just a one-time promotion or 1 week promotion. One time when I was in that grocery outlet, they had the little mascot, which I think is a woman, like a little woman, like a little cutout. It may be 12 inches tall, maybe, if that. And they had her sitting in the store somewhere, and they said, if you found her, you got like a gift card or something. And then the gift card may have been $5 or $10. But anyway, I found it right away, and I just left it there for someone else.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. Yeah, it might have been a promotion or something because I've never heard of that. And every so often I drop into a grocery outlet. But yeah, Mark, I am shocked that you've never been to an Aldi. Like a bag of like their brand potato chips is like $1.30 or something.
Well, when they put this one up here in beautiful Elizabethtown, then I'll be going.
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
All right. So what happened at your place of employment now that we keep...
So anyway, yes, out there I'm getting my McDonald's, which I never do. And McDonald's is about a quarter mile down the street.
I'll say it's right down the road.
Yep, you can see the building from there. So I'm sitting there in the line, and all these fire trucks come flying up. I'm thinking, oh, God, no, please. I just want to go home. I'm just waiting for a phone call.
He knows.
I mean, I literally just left there. I locked the doors. Nothing was going on. Sure enough, honest to God, there was probably 8 or 10 or more fire trucks.
Mark sitting at McDonald's like, why me?
I felt like Sid. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll go up and see what's going on before I go home. Because I'll get home and they're just going to call. I'm the first one on the list.
That's right.
So I go down there and they're all up on the roof. They're all around the shopping center. They're in the back. They're in the front, Tim. They're on the side. And I guess there was they said the incident, whatever it was, fire-related or smoke or whatever, was isolated to the Planet Fitness, which is beside us.
Oh, so they were making sure your building was okay.
Yeah, they did not need access in the building, and so I said, good. And they said, what? And I said, good. And I went home. I said, I got things to do.
And they haven't called you back yet?
And they called just to make sure everything was okay. And I said, yeah, I'm fine.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad to hear your place of employment, despite being the punchline of many of our jokes, is safe. Is safe for one day.
It is safe. Man, and, if it wasn't safe, then I feel bad that I did all that work today to make it look better.
Right.
Had I known that, I would have taken some time off.
Yeah. So last week was not to turn and get very serious. Last week was the 23rd anniversary of September 11th, and man, I don't know if it's just the length of time, or if it's just that my brain has been like super scattered as of late. But like this year, for some reason, like I felt like I didn't think about it like as much as I have probably ever before. Have you guys found that like over time, or there's some years where like, or do you guys not really reflect on it at all? Like I know there's a lot of years where I'm shocking. People would be shocked to learn that I'm a reflector.
You're a reflector, Jimmy.
But yeah, there's a lot of years where I think about it a lot. But this year, for some reason, I didn't think about it a ton. Do you guys like think about it at all, like on the day of?
Jim, that's a great question. Great question.
Great question.
Great question. To quote Smokey, he can't be with us. You know, it's funny because I was looking on my Facebook because I was going to put a little post up, and I'm like, some years I don't, and other years I do. And I was looking, and yeah, I'm very hit and miss with it. And this year I decided not to, other than to put up a little post that it was Patriot Day or Patriots Day. But no, I'm kind of hit and miss, and this year I definitely didn't think of it as much as I had in some other years. But I don't know. I was thinking about, like, personally, I was thinking about it. I can't believe 23 years. It seems like yesterday in one hand, and then on the other hand, it seems like it was forever ago.
Yeah, I mean, I can run down pretty much from between second and third period, my junior year of high school, because I was a junior in high school at the time. I could run down from the moment that a friend of mine told me that he heard that something had happened at, I think he said the Capitol. But now this was one of those guys that like would say things.
He would lie.
He would lie to get a reaction, right? Like he would say things to get you to react. So like he said it, and I was like, man, that's not funny. And like I shoved him, and I just went on. And like I got to my third period math class, and the TV was on the news coverage from New York. And like so that, and from then on, like I could literally walk back the rest of my day in my mind, and I can picture it from like going to the cafeteria to like going to a room to like hang out with friends, to just not to get out of like my normal classroom, to going home, to going to another friend's house, to church. That like that the rest of that day I can literally live minute by minute on.
Yes.
But like, yeah, I don't I made a post about it, but like, yeah, like after I made the post, like it was like I felt like, okay, I should do this. And then like I really didn't think about it the rest of the day last week, which was a little odd for me.
That's unusual, Jimmy, but that's okay.
It is.
Some years maybe that's what you need.
Yeah, I think it's just this week. That last week was a little bit like chaotic. Because Smoke and I had gone to the beach the weekend prior. We didn't come home till Monday, so like my week was already thrown off a bit from not getting home until Monday, and then 4-day work week, and I know I worked on Saturday, and so it's like, yeah, my week was very thrown off. So I don't know, maybe that was part of it, but like Tim, does it even like register really with you, or do you just like another day?
It's another day. Like, I understand like the whole 9/11 never forget type deal of just like, I acknowledge that it's a major thing that happened, and it's big, and like I was in high school when it happened too, and like, but none of my classes shut down, and we didn't like watch it at all. We just
really,
at least the classes I was in, because I was in 9th grade, 10th grade.
Okay.
01. I graduated 04, so 03, 04.
You would have been a
03.
sophomore.
It's just a little Tim.
Because I graduated in 03, and I was a junior.
Yeah, so like sophomores, they didn't stop nothing. Like, now all the upperclassmen, like their days got railroaded because their teachers were like, yeah, this is important. You kids should see this.
Did your school dismiss early?
Nope.
Really?
And here's the thing. I lived 25 minutes from the biggest naval base on the East Coast.
Yeah, oh, Jesus.
And we didn't early dismiss.
That's insane.
We did not early dismiss.
Yeah, because I know people that went to multiple like schools here in Lancaster County, and all of them closed early that day. Like we were let out. I think we were let out even before noon. It was like the first, because I think in PA, for it to be like considered a day, there has to be a lunch period. So they
have to get to lunch.
Yeah, like so they made an announcement because like at Warwick High School at the time there was 3 lunch periods. I don't know if there's still 3 or if there's more or whatever. But there was
block scheduling.
Well, we had 7 periods, but like the fourth period was extra long because that was your lunch plus a class period. So like fourth period I think was 90 minutes because you'd have 60 minutes of class, 30 minutes of lunch. And so they made an announcement that they're going to do the first lunch period. Anybody who wants to go to the cafeteria to eat, you can go. After that, school's over. So wow, they didn't. That's fucking wild to me. Damn. So Mark, what were you doing on 9/11? Like, where were you?
Jim, it was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday, but this was before my my weekly affiliation with Roots Country Market took off. Now, I was familiar with Roots Country Market, and I have visited there, but not on a consistent basis. So I remember I was working, and it was a beautiful Tuesday. It really was. It was nice, almost felt like fall. And we do a morning huddle. And I remember at the huddle, there was somebody was taking down some signs, and one of them said love. And I remember at the huddle, I was holding it, and I said, today we're going to talk about love. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
So anyway, and then I was actually working around the electronics department, and a customer came in and said that a plane hit the World Trade Center. And we're like, oh man, how's that happen? Boy, isn't that crazy? So we flipped one of the TVs over to the news channel, and sure enough, they're reporting a plane hit the World Trade Center. You just, this is unusual. You don't think a whole lot about it. And then so we start going about the day, and the next thing you know, on the TV, you have to be standing there, and a second plane comes and hits the other tower. Then you're like, you don't know what to do. What is going on?
Yeah.
Like, this is not normal. Like, you got to, anybody who didn't experience that day, like, you talk about it today, and it's kind of like you're not nearly as affected as you would have been, because that was completely.
Oh, it was insane. I mean, as a junior in high school, there was really nothing for like my generation at that point that ever was like that serious. And I remember like history teachers even talking about it. Like when my freshman and sophomore years, they were like, every generation kind of had like a big marking point. Cold War, Kennedy assassination, landing on the moon, Vietnam, stuff like that. In my generation, there was a Gulf War in the early 90s, but that was a little less consequential than a lot of things. But yeah, 9/11 really was that. And then feels like over the last 20 years, we've made up for a hell of a lot of lost time in terms of first ever and monumental things. But the crazy part, my brother, he's 3 years older than me. He was in Philly. He was at college at the time. And like phone lines and shit were jammed. Obviously, we didn't. I don't think we ever got through to him until later that evening. But he's a teacher now, and when he went to college to get his back into college in like the 2010s to get his to get his teaching credentials and stuff, he had classes with like kids who were freshmen in college, and it says. Obviously in September, and they were talking about 9/11, and these the kids had no recollection of it. They were kindergarten or preschool when it happened, and my brother trying to explain like not being able to get in touch with family members. They're like, well, why didn't you just send an email? It's like, well, we didn't have that. Well, why didn't you text them or send them a thing on Facebook? And it was like, these things weren't a thing. So like, I can only imagine these people are looking at my brother like, okay, grandpa, like, sure, you had to call on a phone that was connected to the wall.
Pretty much. I mean, there were cell phones, but not.
It wasn't, and not everybody had them. You know, I think.
And you're paying per minute, and like text
I'll call you
message
after
rates
7.
are insane.
Well, and everything was so jammed up because all the communications in PA, New York, and DC, everybody was trying to get in touch with people. So you would literally try to make calls, and it just wouldn't connect. It was crazy. But yeah, I was just, you know, it was wild. People were talking about it, and just it didn't.
It was insane. The AT&T, I remember they waived any kind of fees.
Yeah.
For that day or the day after too, or whatever it was, they waived long distance or any whatever fees that normally would occur. They waived all that. Which I'm sure they recouped that money.
Yeah, they made it back. They made it back.
They wrote that off
at some point.
But yeah, it was wild, man. It was like, you know, and like information was not free flowing like it is now. I mean, of course, there's news channels and stuff, but like, you know, the internet and stuff, like not everybody had access to it, and you couldn't jump.
And that's the thing.
Website.
The thing too, like we've become so accustomed to the ticker at the bottom of the news channels.
Yep.
That is a product of September 11th, because there was so much information that had to come across, and they were trying to get, you know, names of survivors or names of this or news about this whatever, that the reporters couldn't keep up with it. So that literally that if you go back to days before 9/11, a lot of the news channels didn't have a 24/7 ticker at the bottom.
Correct.
So,
it was
good.
I'll go ahead, Timmy. Oh, all right, I'll go ahead.
Good.
But just remind me of a couple things. So the yes, I remember the news station saying that they were getting reports that a missile, I think they said a missile hit the Pentagon. So you're thinking, now what the hell's going on? They talked about planes being unaccounted for. I mean, you didn't have a clue. And I was working at Harrisburg at the time. So, I mean, it's a capital city. There's a lot of people there.
Capital city, an international airport right there.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, 3 Mile Island was up and running. I mean, it's still dangerous, but you know, you had no
right,
clue.
and that was the wild part, is you had no clue. My girlfriend at the time, her dad was flying somewhere on the East Coast and somewhere on the West Coast, and flew out in the morning, and they couldn't get in. I don't think, if I remember right, they didn't get in touch with him until like later that evening. His plane landed. They brought, because obviously they grounded all the flights. He landed in St. Louis, and because he was on like a work trip, and him and a couple of colleagues, they rented a car and drove home. But yeah, they didn't talk to him until like 9:30 that night. So they literally didn't know if he was. They couldn't remember, because again, it's not like today where you can. Oh, I know his. You know, I know he was. You know, his login for his, you know, flight, you know, his airline account, you know, so they couldn't remember. And I think he was flying out of Boston or New York. So it's like, yeah, there were so many unknowns. But Tim, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was gonna do the typical Tim Taylor, what the hell are you saying, moment of the conversation. I would love, because I know a lot of it's been scrubbed, I would love to now, as a almost 38-year-old, find original footage of like the Today Show or Good Morning America or one of those other shows on 9/11.
I think.
Yep.
Because I think a lot of that's been scrubbed
I think.
or
let me
archived.
This is somewhat related. When all hell was breaking loose, I remember I used to listen to Howard Stern. He was out of New York.
Yeah.
So I went, because we sold radios there, and I put on one of the radios to see what Howard Stern was doing because he's live. And the same thing, I went back and listened to the early part of the show then, but, they started out talking about plane hit the World Trade Center. Oh, yeah, how's that happen? Whatever. Then he went on talking, I think, about Pamela Anderson or something. And then they realized the seriousness when the second one hits. And his show went on till, I think it was well after noon.
Mm-hmm.
They just kept going. I mean, it was insane.
So if you go on YouTube, they have the it's 2 hours of the Today Show from that morning.
Because Today Show, they do a lot outside. I mean, I imagine they started.
So
this is 8:50.
Well, for one thing, he didn't have to.
Matt
deal
Lauer, I
with it.
don't know.
He
They have
had
some
so much
guest on
that he could lay naked in a bed.
Let's see here.
Room, talking on the
It's
telephone.
right around the time.
Test drive an Accord Tourist. It's designed and
So they were at commercial.
Minute Maid orange juice. Start off your day, every day, with breakfast variety at McDonald's.
Nobody was getting in and around that New York. But.
As Matt just mentioned, we have a breaking news story to tell you about. Apparently, a plane has just crashed into the World Trade Center here in New York City. It happened just a few moments ago, apparently. We have very little information available at this point in time. But on the phone, we do have Jennifer Oberstein, who apparently witnessed this event. Jennifer, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, can you please tell me what you saw and to give me any information about what's going on there?
Yes, I have to tell you, it's quite terrifying. I'm in shock right now. I came out of the subway at Bowling Green. I was heading to work in Battery Park at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, and I come out, and I heard a boom, looked up, and there was a big ball of fire. I'm now looking north at the World Trade Center.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can just search, September 11th, Today Show. I think there's also the Regis and Kelly broadcast.
Everyone's upset.
Was So I think there's a smaller clips of that one, maybe about an hour of it. Oh, the entire 58-minute of the show of the Regis and Kelly from that morning. So yeah, those are out there. Yeah, I've listened to the episode of Howard a bit. I'm a Stern listener, so I've gone back and listened to that one. But yeah, it was wild, man. It really was, and to turn on, I mean, MTV, VH1, Comedy Central, all of the entertainment stations were running because they're owned by different media groups, and they were just
MTV's run by Viacom, which was then CBS.
CBS. So you would turn on NBC and it's just the CBS news coverage. Yeah. So it's you couldn't get away from it.
That was back before ABC was owned by Disney, I think.
Yeah. So they were.
I think ABC was their own thing at that time. So.
Yeah, it was freaking nuts, man.
It is
I remember
crazy
that too.
though. Go ahead.
The channels, you couldn't get away from it. You wanted to watch your soap opera. You put it on, the news is on. Even the Home Shopping Center, I think, went off the air, and it had some said, America's under attack. Please tune to your local news stations. The only channel I remember this very vividly was the freaking Game Show Network. Still was going on without interruption. I don't even think they ran anything across to the bottom.
Yeah, and
you couldn't get away. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was. It really was. It really was nonstop. And I know that for those first couple of days, I mean, I was glued to it. But my parents would kind of step in and we would put on a DVD or something because,
it's too much.
At 16 years old, it was all encompassing. It was
the footage and stuff of what was going on was just I don't ever want to see it again. It was just horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. I've watched a lot of documentaries about it. Last week it just didn't connect with me this year.
I think what it is now for us is now 9/11 we're so desensitized because of the news cycle now, which we can also thank mostly to 9/11 coverage because
Right.
I'm sure the biggest ratings that news companies ever had was because everybody was watching the news during 9/11. And so that changed the way people reported. And it's kind of like a convergence of so many things with this, the advent of the infancy of the internet, it booming, plus like social networking and social media coming online in the coming years, and just the ease and accessibility of being able to talk to people on the street, right? Before you couldn't necessarily, like, people had to find payphones or people had to be calling from a landline. So all of that has changed. But you also have to think too, like, there's so many other major tragedies, or not even major tragedies, but like minor in comparison to 9/11 that we don't talk about anymore.
Right.
When was the last time you heard anybody discuss anything of Columbine?
Yep.
Right.
School shootings. Unfortunately, school shootings don't even make front page news. Like, if they make the news at all. It's unreal.
It's the grandfather of all school shootings.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about that. We don't talk about Sandy Hook anymore. The only time we talk about Sandy Hook is when we're dunking on Ronda Rousey.
Or Alex Jones. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Like we don't even talk about Uvalde.
And
that was like a couple years ago.
I know. Well, that's the sad thing, because we, unfortunately, we just had another one the other week, 2 weeks ago, and
we had one here close to where I live.
Yeah. I guess it would have been 2 weeks ago was the one.
Georgia. Wasn't
yeah,
it
in Georgia, the first week schools were back in. And
we had one close to here too, like 30 minutes away.
Crazy. And Ryan and Smoke and I, we were talking about it, and it's like, I feel like the unfortunate thing is that you don't talk about Sandy Hook and Columbine and Uvalde, and because there's been so many of them that you go, and I because I've even said it the one time, because it's like, I remember thinking this after, and I go, that one, the one school shooting, and I can't even remember which one it is, because it's like there's been so many. It's like I can't remember if this was PA or Colorado or Texas or Ohio or Minnesota or Michigan or Georgia, and it's just like I
just Howard Deaning it right now. You're just naming,
right, like,
we're gonna go to Washington and Oregon
yeah,
and Michigan.
And I remember like Columbine. I was in middle school, and I didn't know what another school looked like. So I said to Ryan, like, I have a very vivid memory of being, 13, 14 years old, and going through picturing the halls of my middle school and imagining, like, because, you hear the reports of, they came into the library and they came into this. So I'm picturing the library in my own school, because I don't have a frame of reference elsewhere. But now it's like they happen so frequently that, like, I don't know, like, yeah, you don't talk about a single event. Yeah. Because, it's I know, like, my parents said that, like 9/11 to me is probably like the Kennedy assassination to them, or like the bombing of Pearl Harbor is to, like, my great or great great grandparent. generation, or I guess my grandparents' generation. Like those are like the only kind of real comparisons, because it was probably the few times that the country's really grinded to a complete halt like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what else would have done that, right? Because there was the Cuban Missile Crisis in the 60s,
Yeah.
which would have grinded things to a halt too, because it was the not deportation, but the mass exodus of American citizens who were in Puerto Rico or in Cuba getting out of there, including my mom and my aunt. They were on, because my granddad was stationed in Cuba, so my mom, my grandma, my aunt, my grandma, my mom, and my aunt were on a boat from Cuba heading back to Florida.
Wow.
For the Cuban Missile Crisis. And so, like, you probably think the Cuban Missile Crisis is one. But, like, I remember when the only thing we had to worry about was, like, massive cults.
Dude,
like,
this is a wild picture, and I guess my phone probably heard the algorithm. But it's a shot of a UPS driver delivering a package while the Twin Towers are on fire behind him.
But, like, I remember when the biggest thing to worry about was, like, Heaven's Gate.
Yeah.
And
those were good memories now.
Right. Like,
pretty sad.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Like, we had to worry about spiked Kool-Aid.
Right.
And now we have to worry about any Tom, Dick, and Harry with any sort of weaponry showing up at any public place and just doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not a reason for us to, like, live in fear and not live, but it just sucks that, like, the youth, like, me and Jim are probably, like, the oldest of that generation, where we were like we were the grandfathers of all of this, but everyone after us has to learn how to do active shooter drills. And
yeah, we did tornado drills. The sit in the hall,
hurricane drills,
sit in the hallway and put your head between your knees.
Or like earthquake drills, you get under your desk and you cover your head.
Yeah.
Where, like, kids now have to make a decision, like, no, Dad, I don't want the light up shoes, because if I'm in school, I don't want the shooter to be able to see my lights.
Yeah. Well, it's like, dude, I saw
a
thing.
Cell phone at 8 because
I saw a thing on Twitter or something the other week. Kids going back in school, and there are these schools that if you have a phone, you have to put it in a pouch that, like, electronically locks. And then at the end of the day, you take it and there's these scanners and it unlocks it. So that, and I'm like, if I was a parent, now I'm not a parent, but if I was a parent and they were telling me my kid either couldn't have a phone or had to put it in a pouch, that they couldn't get the phone out unless they got to one point in the school or 2 points in the school that unlocked these pouches, I'd be like, absolutely fucking not.
Not in this day and age, nope.
Absolutely not. There is not a chance, because if that is the only line of communication that my kid has to me in the event of something terrible happens, absolutely not. No, not a chance.
No way. That's insane.
Yeah.
Right.
This is somewhat related, like school shootings, but a friend of mine who Jim, you probably know, I won't name his name, but he's a school teacher locally, or somewhat locally, and he was telling me, this was maybe a year or two ago. A student, they were doing speeches, and he said there's one student who was just kind of an outsider, just a little different. And he said he came in wearing a trench coat to do his, and this is a true story. He's wearing a trench coat and came in to do his speech in front of the class. And my friend's school teacher, he said he was just absolutely petrified that this kid was gonna, he had guns on him or something.
Yeah,
And he said he was so afraid. He had his phone out on his desk and 911 already pressed.
wow.
Because this kid, he said, was giving a speech and he was stuttering and shaking. I mean, how freaking awful is that? And then for kids not to have a way to communicate if something like that happens,
Yeah, man.
Right.
insane.
Yeah, it's a sad reality, and yeah, I mean it's like Tim said, for us, we're the last generation that didn't really have to live with that. I mean, and it's a shame that that it's not that way, because you shouldn't have to worry sending a kid off to school or going to a
Heck
movie
no.
theater or something. But
Nope.
before we close up, let's have a little fun here before we leave. But I did not anticipate this show getting a little heavy, but that's what we do here. You know,
Let's make it light. You never know.
sometimes get a little heavy.
Light
So
music.
we're
Light
here
music.
in mid September, so we're getting into fall season. I know the local Dunkins and Starbucks and everything has the fall flavors and all that. So I typed into ChatGPT 20 fall themed this or that's. So 20 fall themed this or that. So number 1, pumpkin spice latte or apple cider, Tim.
Oh my God, it's the worst of both. I guess I'll take apple cider because I hate coffee, but I hate apple cider too.
Are you an apple juiceman or just no apple drink?
Yeah, and my heart is broken hearing that there's like a nationwide recall on tons of apple juice because there's an unacceptable level of arsenic
Jesus.
in like the store brand apple juices.
Well,
What is an acceptable level of arsenic?
I was going to say, I don't think there
What
should
is
be an acceptable level.
of an acceptable level of rat poison.
But that, well, not to get political, but that's what happens when you vote for a guy who deregulates everything. Mark, pumpkin spice latte or apple cider?
Well, I do like both, but I go with the PSL.
Yeah, I'm a PSL guy. I do like apple cider. You got to watch how much you drink because, well, it can be a bad situation. You got to get into a messy situation real quick if you drink too much apple cider. Number 2, haunted house or corn maze, Tim? We'll go same direction every time.
Corn maze because I'm not a scary man.
There you go, Mark.
I think I'd enjoy a corn maze over a haunted house, even though Hershey's Dark Nights, which opened Friday, is spectacular. If you live in the area, if you're going to make a trip and you like Halloween, Hershey really stepped it up.
I'll say they actually make it kind of scary, right? Like it's pretty legit.
Yeah.
If I'm at Knoebels, haunted house. Otherwise, I'd go corn maze. I don't really want to be in a maze, but a corn maze, I can at least walk through the corn to get the fuck out if I panic.
Yes.
Sweater weather or scarf weather?
I'm too fat to be wearing a scarf. It's going to look like a neck brace. But I'm also too fat to wear a sweater.
Right.
It's hoodie season.
There you go.
Baby.
That's the right answer,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes, hoodies for sure.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a sweater or a scarf. Sweaters seem scratchy. Scarves seem pointless for my fat neck. So yeah, hoodie season. Football games or fall festivals?
Football.
Fall festivals, please.
No, give me that foosball. Apple picking or pumpkin picking?
Apple picking.
Yeah, I'd pick some apples. Oh, the pumpkins are too heavy.
Yeah, I like Ms. Big Jim buys like stacking pumpkins we put on our front porch, but that's it. Like I'm apple picking because then I can at least eat them. Warm apple pie or cinnamon donuts?
Cinnamon donuts.
Man, no, I'd probably do warm apple pie.
Yes, this is tough, but I'm gonna say both, but warm apple pie is the if I have to pick one. Watching horror movies or binge watching TV shows?
Binge watching TV shows.
I binge watch TV shows. I was married at one point. I don't need to see any more horror movies.
Yeah, binge watching TV shows. I don't even watch one horror movie, much less plural. Carving pumpkins or decorating hay bales?
What kind of effing shit is that? Carving a pumpkin.
There you go, Mark.
I don't think I've ever decorated a hay bale in my life, so it has to be carving pumpkins.
Yeah.
It's really fun to carve a pumpkin with a hammer.
There you go. Yeah, carving pumpkins. Falling leaves or crisp fall air?
Crisp fall air.
Yeah, I like the crisp fall air as well.
Yeah, falling leaves, you have to work and clean them up. Give me that fall air, the crisp fall air. Bonfires or cozy indoor fires?
Campfire. Bonfire.
Yeah, I like the bonfire, but then the smoke always finds me.
He likes you though. That's what it is.
He's an old smoky.
Yeah, in the fall bonfire for sure. Give me an outdoor bonfire campfire. Thanksgiving dinner or Halloween candy?
Thanksgiving dinner all day, every day.
My man.
Right there with you, Timmy. No
Hell
question about it.
yes. Unanimous Thanksgiving dinner.
Which reminds me, we need to do our pre-Thanksgiving Thanksgiving here at the house.
Ooh.
We do a dry run of Thanksgiving, like a couple of months
It's
before
dry.
Thanksgiving.
Look, if you want to invite friends over for that, I wouldn't hate
I don't. I want all the turkey to myself. Jerk.
Cornbread or pumpkin bread?
Neither. I guess cornbread.
Oh, it's got to be the pumpkin bread. Oh, my God.
So is that water brain?
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. That's awful looking. Gosh.
Just throw away all my money. It's fine.
Pumpkin bread. I love both. But when it's pumpkin season, give me pumpkin bread. Reading a book by the fireplace or going for a fall walk?
Jim, I don't read and I don't walk, but I'll take the walk over the book.
Yeah, I'd absolutely take the walk. I can't say that too loud. Andy's going to bark.
Yeah, I'm not walking anywhere. I'm not really reading, but I'm definitely not walking. Sweater vests or flannel shirts?
Dog, you ain't had to ask me that. Sweet of vestes.
Mark.
I don't think I own a sweater vest. So I guess it had to be a flannel shirt, which I haven't owned one since the 90s.
I don't think I own a sweater vest. I don't think I own a flannel shirt. I'd probably go flannel shirt though. Raking leaves or jumping in leaf piles?
Jumping in leaf piles.
I'd rather rake them up. Who knows what's in those leaf piles?
Don't care. More fun.
God. Yeah,
I would rather jump in a leaf pile full of dog shit than to rake up those leaves into the pile.
Ooh,
my God.
not me. No, I'm with Mark. I don't know what's lurking in that leaf pile.
You old people.
I am.
Oh my God.
Scary.
They could put
Whatever's
razor
there,
blades
you
in
can
there.
wash off, or you can get an anti-venom. You're not going to get bit by a spider the size of a pile of leaves. They don't exist.
All right. A couple more. Apple crisp or pumpkin pie?
Pumpkin pie.
Yeah, I'd probably do pumpkin pie too.
The pumpkin pie.
Oh yeah, pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
Absolutely pumpkin pie all the time. Gingerbread scented candles or spiced pumpkin scented candles?
Spiced pumpkin scented candles.
Yes, I have one right now. Yes, spiced pumpkin.
Spiced pumpkin, absolutely. Thanksgiving parade or Halloween party?
Thanksgiving parade. It's in my house. I'm preparing the deviled eggs. I'm watching Pikachu float through the city. It's awesome.
Pikachu.
Mark?
We don't locally. They don't have a Thanksgiving parade here, which is kind of weird.
Oh,
They
Minnie
do
the
Halloween.
Moocher hasn't found a way to fly around.
Well, give her time. Maybe next year. I'll go with the parade, even if it's just on television.
No. I hate parades. I hate them. Give me a party.
Why?
Well, I used to march in them in high school, and
That's
I
cool.
hated them.
Roll your feet, Jim.
Awful. Autumn harvest decor or Halloween decor?
Too many. Here's my hot take of the whole effing episode.
Ooh.
Too many people make their personality Halloween, and it pisses me off so much that I don't want to celebrate Halloween. So give me general fall decorations instead of the people who are like, my life story is the Nightmare Before Christmas.
All right, Mark.
I'd say the fall decor or harvest decor.
I would go harvest decor as well. Like we really don't decorate for Halloween. We don't get trick or treaters at the house. I'll usually go to a friend's house for trick or treat. Because they live in a development that they get a bunch of foot traffic. So like that's my Halloween is one night I just go, I hand out candy and drink beers with my buddy. But besides that, I'm not a Halloween man. And then last one, seasonal TV specials or football games.
Football games. We just asked this question.
No, seasonal TV.
Absolutely not. It's football. The Great Pumpkin can go back up the tree where it was born. I'm watching the foosball.
They can throw the Great Pumpkin at Gronk, and he can spike that shit.
That's right. Tim gets it. This guy gets it. All right, boys. Well, that was
the head of the Notre Dame coach. Either way.
Oh boy.
Spike the head of the Notre Dame coach.
It's a rough one. It's a rough one. But boys, we made it. We made it through another Tuesday. We'll be back live this Thursday, 8:00 Eastern time. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So make sure you are following and subscribed in all of those places. You can subscribe to all of our social media at 3 Count Thursday across the board: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, as well as all podcast platforms. Got our merch over at tpublic.com. But otherwise, we hope you have a great week. We will see you Thursday. And as always, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin.